you have your books, you have your players, you have your dice, and now it's time to run your very first session. And now whether that is a one-shot session or that is a multi-year campaign, there's a lot of things to learn in your very first session. Things like how your party works as a group, or just the basic rules of the system that you're playing on, whether it's 5th edition or Pathfinder. There's a lot of things to learn, and let's talk about it. What's up, everybody? My name is Francis Ramos. I'm a dungeon master and Twitch streamer. I stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and the link down below. And today we're going to be talking about 3 things I wish I knew when I first ran D&D and when I first ran my first session. Lots of firsts. To jump right in, the first thing that I wish I knew was there is going to be a lot of mistakes. As someone who struggles with anxiety and wanting to have a perfect game, as a perfectionist, I tried to memorize the player's handbook. I tried to understand what the monsters would do based on their stats. No. The truth is there will always be mistakes. Whatever you plan for will probably be either averted or completely subverted, and some derivation of that will actually happen. That's just the way D&D works. And another thing that I thought was bad was being able to check the books in the middle of the game. Whether that's a spell that I misread or the player misread, it's up to us as dungeon masters to really judge and rule on what the game feels like. Maybe you have your own house ruling, like the Mercer thing, where you take a potion as a bonus action instead of an action, or you reroll ones when you level up for hit points. There's a lot of mistakes and misinterpretations for how things react, and you shouldn't feel bad about trying to rectify that. So what I recommend, and this will probably work the more you grow as a dungeon master and the more you play, but you sort of develop this feeling of something might be wrong. Say, for instance, you have a player that casted a spell at a higher level and they forgot the extra damage. Then some little light bulb in your head should be able to check that and realize that is probably wrong. Just know that there will be mistakes in how you interpret things, how your players interpret things, how you plan things, and the part of the fun and the mental, gymnastics of fixing that problem is one of the more enjoyable things about D&D. And it sounds like I'm on a broken record here, but sometimes it's the thrill of thinking on your feet. Second thing is pitching your game. That's extremely important because you need to set this expectation that your players will have fun playing. And say even if it's with a group of brand new players, they should at least have an idea of what they're going into, because at the worst case scenario, you as a DM, you do not want to design a game that your players will not have fun in, and there's no point in playing. So I recommend is creating some sort of pitch document that has varying levels of your game, and describe them what the setting is. Think of it like movie trailers. I mean, no one in this day and age will look at a movie and blindly walk into it. I mean, yes, there's a few that would do that, but the majority would definitely prefer to watch a trailer before spending 3 to 4 hours, 2 to 4 hours, trying to follow along something that they may or may not enjoy. And also, it kind of proves to you that you have more things to think about. Maybe your one-shot has some details that you didn't really even think about. Especially with one-shots and campaigns, you don't need to have everything in the finest detail. You just have to have kind of the big picture aspects of your game. And you don't want to make a trailer that spoils everything for your one-shot. And you definitely don't want to describe all the political figures and kings and kingdoms in your multi-year campaign. So just prep these big picture that impacts your entire setting and see what they think before you even play, and have them kind of react and sort of gauge that reaction. That's what I would recommend. And the final thing that I recommend to new Dungeon Masters is to prep outlines. When I first started my campaign 3 years ago, or when I first started playing D&D 3 years ago, I created every single detail of this massive citadel that I made. And this was before Octavia, but I planned essentially every 20 feet of the city, and it was a lot of work. It was fun to do it, but it was super stressful running it. I was prepping so much on the details, including what they say, including the descriptions and the feelings, and then none of it really happened. It just didn't really matter in the end. Part of the fun, like I said before, is just thinking on your feet. What you think will go wrong will probably go wrong, but that's okay, because you will have a plan, whether you like it or not, to deal and rise with that situation. You don't need to have everything into the finest detail, but you do need to have some sort of big picture, whether you're telling a story or maybe even a sandbox. You need NPCs, you need missions, you need a setting. Maybe you should focus on that a lot more than these finer details. And I'm a prep DM. If you're an improv DM, just come up with random NPC names. Maybe your one shot has maybe 5 people that you want the players to talk to. Focus on those NPCs. Have them have some quirks and whatnot. And prepping outlines also helps out with burnout, because the more, in my experiences, when I burn out of D&D, it's because I spent so much time on the little details and I could not falter from all the changes that I kept making. And ever since I started prepping outlines for Tales of Octavia, the game that I currently run, it's a lot easier and more manageable for me as a weekly game. So take that into consideration. So that's it for this video. 3 things that I wish I knew as a starter GM. If you have any more tips for any of the newer players, feel free to leave them down in the comments down below. And if you found value in this video, hit the like button, because that helps me out. And as always, I will see you in the next video. So, bye guys.
I guess. I don't know, it had some issue with its head. I just cut it off.
I mean, it bonked its head, obviously. It's stupid for it to live in a place with such a low ceiling.
I think he was doing it.
You know, here's what I'm gonna do. Alright, we're just gonna figure this whole head thing out real quick. I'm gonna walk up to its head. I'm going to split its head open. I want to see what's in there.
What?